Hello, everybody. It's the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. We are back again. And tonight we're going to be talking to Jordan Fields Bishop. He is an expat from New Jersey. The other part of New Jersey that I don't like that much. I'm joking. But I'm from South Jersey. He's going to be from North Jersey. So he's got a different perspective. And he's down here in São Paulo, in Capão Redondo, which is a big area in the suburbs of São Paulo. So he's going to talk about life out there, and he's going to talk about culture here in Brazil, because he does a lot of cross-cultural work, not just America, Brazil, but all over the world, Brazil to the rest of the world. And so we'll be talking music, art, life in the periferia, everything. So it's going to be an exciting show, and he's a really awesome guy, okay? And well, actually, no, before we get to that, I always forget Peter. Peter's here with me. Okay.
Hi, Peter. Hello, everybody.
Yes. Before we get to all of that, I always have to say thank you for liking and subscribing to the page. We got a few more subscribers this week, so that always makes me happy. I'm so glad that this podcast helps some of you. And I want to give a shout out to Helen. I was on her podcast last weekend, and that's going to be up soon. As soon as we get the link to that, I'll let you know. It was a group of expats, and we were talking about moving down here, what life is like. It was somebody from Rio, somebody from São Paulo. We get a native Brazilian, somebody that was born and raised down here. So it was very, very good. Wait up, Jordan, I'm going to mute you. It was very nice. We got Jordan in the background getting excited, but he'll be on in a second. So I'll have the link up for that very, very soon, so you guys can watch or listen. And what else? Is that all the business out of the way? Oh, what's up, Travelmatic? I love this dude. What's up? We got a good show tonight. Peter, you went to the Bloco, right? Because Carnival was late this year.
How was that? Well, it wasn't late. It's like we got it twice. We had Carnival, the holiday in February, but there were no outdoor Blocos. It was all indoor. But they said, we'll do Blocos in a couple months. And it wasn't really quite the same because, they were limited. I think there were, maybe a dozen over the course of the weekend. But I went to a couple. I know there was a feminist theme one in Santa Cecilia. That was on Friday. I couldn't go because I had to work. And then I went to one in Bella Vista on Saturday, and yeah, that was pretty cool. It's a long-running Bloco. Apparently, they've been doing it for 10, 11 years or so, and this is the first one they've had after a 2-year break. So yeah, that was pretty nice. And then,
but let me ask you, Pete. Let me ask you. Were there a lot of tits and ass? That's what the
dude, the one I went to yesterday, which was the one by my house, man. There were topless chicks, completely topless. So yes, there was plenty of tits and ass, lots of flesh,
and not just girl ass. We got man ass here too.
Yeah, there was a lot of gay vibes too.
Yes, a little to float everybody's boats.
Yeah, there were something for everybody. And something for the kids too. So there was nude women, but there was stuff for the kids too. So everyone's happy.
Well, no, what I like is that we get these street Blocos, and they start out for the kids, which is cool. They know, the parents know after 9 or after whatever, take the kids home, because then it definitely is not for the children.
Yeah. So, But usually Blocos in Butantã, they are the more family themed ones. They are more family friendly.
Yes.
And this one, it started at 3. I woke up at 3 actually, so I just basically got out of bed and grabbed a bottle of Catuaba at the grocery store and went. And yeah, when I got there, it was already full on, man.
There you go. Yes, I noticed. I stopped by. I couldn't find you, so I just went to Paulista, and I did adult things on Paulista.
Yeah, they had a swing, a jazz swing type blocko going on Police Avenue yesterday as well. So there
Okay.
were a few. It's not like normal carnival when there's like literally like 100 different blockos going on. They were very selective, but
Very much.
yeah, it was my good fortune that one happened to be in my backyard and another was very accessible and suited to my schedule. So yeah, it was good to get to do that sort of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking of another type of swing that I went to. But anyway, oh, what's up, Elisa? Now, guys, we got Jordan in the background here, so I'm gonna put him on. There you are. What's up, Jordan? Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
There he is.
I'm here. I'm in the building.
Okay.
I'm trying not to swing my chair back and forth so I don't get out of the frame. Oh, no. Then it's more this way than I need to be. There we go.
There you go. No, you're right in the middle. Yeah, I actually have my camera on for a minute, but I'll probably turn it off by the time.
No, but you look nice, man. Everything, you got the whole...
Yeah, someone got a haircut.
I know. Finally.
Peter, you're the odd man out. You're not showing us your...
Oh, man, I feel like crap, actually. I think I might have COVID for like the third time.
Oh yes. My God, that's horrible.
Yes. Well, it happens when you're around, like, 500.
Yeah, when you spend thousands of people all the time. It gets passed around, man.
What's up, Elisa, by the way? We're going to talk music tonight, Elisa. Elisa, jazz singer extraordinaire.
Oh, yeah, in Salvador, right?
Yes, that's my soul sister. I love her to death. So we've had her on here a couple of times talking about music, but talking about her life too. So let's get to it, Jordan, because you're somebody that I love very much. We don't really kick it. Like, I don't think we've ever just gone out, just us two, and like just had long conversations. But I admire.
Yeah, it will happen though.
Your walk, let's say. It's very cool. So tell us a little bit. You're from Plainfield, New Jersey.
I'm from a mixed bag of places, but we'll talk about that too.
Okay. Get us into how Brazil entered your radar. How did that come about?
Okay. Yeah, give me that. Well, it entered my radar a little late in life because, I mean, like I said, I was born in Newark. I grew up in between Plainfield and Newark. Like, my father was in Newark and East Orange, New Jersey. So I'm from like a triple triangular place, But in Plainfield, that's where I went to school. That's where I went to high school. That's where I went to, that's where I graduated from college, and I went back to work at Plainfield High School. And I actually, I had lost a student, to gang violence. And it was the type of gang violence where we had this gang, which you probably heard of, Mara Salvatrucha, La Mara MS-13. You ever heard of them before? From Salvador. They're actually a Los Angeles-born gang, but they deported a lot of them, and they went back to El Salvador, and they became like these Hollywood gangsters, you know what I mean? So the gang really spread and grew. And what I saw in my city in Plainfield, New Jersey, in the early 2000s, like 2007 to 2010, a lot of black kids or young black people and, grown folks robbing and beating up Latinos, man. Like y'all remember the Vine? You remember Vine? I don't know if you were already here when Vine, I don't think it came to Brazil, but the Vine was like TikTok before TikTok.
I do. Okay, yes, I know that.
You remember, right?
Yes, they were very popular. The Vine videos, yeah.
The Vine videos, yeah.
Yeah,
and people
2-hour compilations.
Exactly, and so people were just like hooking off on people. Like I remember, like people would just like find like somebody that looked like an undocumented immigrant or whatever, and then they would just hook off, like boom, and knock him out, break his teeth for nothing, just to record it on the video and nothing happened. So it created a distinction, you know what I mean, a difference between black and Latino, and a fear from them, and they live in our communities, because when we were growing up, Plainfield, Newark, a lot of places, they were like chocolate cities, you know what I mean, it was all black people in the city, and we didn't see Latinos, and they started coming in the late 90s from a lot of different places in Central America, and then even South America and the Caribbean, and they're in the city, and they don't learn the language, and we don't understand, and we start the bullying, and then but when the gangs come, when that element, now you're talking about people that were in the Civil War, in the 1980s, Like they grew up seeing all types of violence, so they become a gang that's super violent. And so we ended up being a part of a couple organizations. Number one organization is the POP, People's Organization for Progress. Shout out to Larry Ham, you know what I mean, North New Jersey. They have a Plainfield chapter, you know, and we joined the Plainfield chapter with the intention of, you know, helping the Latino community and helping us bridge the gap, like you were saying before, between the Latino community in the city that I didn't understand very well anything about them. And we talked to these people in this organization called Angels for Action too. But in a long story short, because I could keep going on and on about this, we ended up moving to Panama in 2011. And the idea was that we were going to learn Spanish. I wanted to go there because there's a lot of black people. I look a lot more Panamanian than I look Mexican.
And this is you, when you say we, is you and your organization?
Me and my brother, Lalo Malao, we formed a group called Negros Americanos. And the idea was a twofold idea. I wanted to go to Panama. I wanted to learn Spanish so we could take it back to the city, bridge the gap, like I was saying. But we wanted to learn Spanish and, you know, do stuff with music that wasn't being done with a lot of black artists. You know what I mean? Mixing Spanish into the hip hop music that we were doing. But so when we got back, you know, Panama was good. We actually shot a documentary out there. It's called Lost in the Wilderness. Negros Americanos on YouTube, all in English to watch for anybody that wants to see it about the time that we spent in Panama. Negros Americanos Lost in the Wilderness. So you can watch that. But when we came back, we came out, Negros Americanos, we came back in 2012, and we started doing a lot of shows, man. We were actually, you know, growing. But then after a couple of years, we plateaued. Like, it's a lot of payola, man, here too. But in the States, that's where we were seeing a lot of payola. Like, you got to pay to get your song on the radio, a lot of money. You pay to perform. You know, people were paying to do shows, man, a lot of money. And I'm like, yo, what's the benefit? You know, and I got fed up. I got depressed. And then out of nowhere, a proposal for Brazil happened. It was like an angel. It was like this dude. He was like, yo, I see you rapping in Spanish and doing stuff. Why you don't do it in Portuguese? Because Brazilians, they love you. We love, you know, American hip hop. And if you were to mix it, that would be dope, you know? And I was like, I don't know anything about Brazil. Like, I never even thought about it before. Like, that's never been, you know, on my radar, like you had said. You know what I mean? So I thought about it because I was in a real dark place. My father had died, you know what I mean? I wasn't making a lot of money. I was still living at my grandmother's house. There was just a lot of elements about my life that weren't very happy for me. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy for me to want to leave and want to cling on to something. And the Brazilian hip hop was that for me. I started to, you know, listen to it so much that I learned how to speak the language off of it. Like, it made sense to me from analyzing and translating the lyrics. Why are you playing that of all things? Like, that's my brother though. That's Lyle Malao. You're playing a video from the soundtrack of the documentary, but the documentary is there. It is there.
I think this is what I was looking for, was the trailer, and I found it right there. So you end up, you got this proposal to come to Brazil, and was it a right away thing? Like, how?
Well, it wasn't a proposal.
How was that decision?
It wasn't a proposal to come to Brazil. It was somebody that opened my mind to the fact that hip hop is strong here, that Sao Paulo has millions of people, and that there's a whole hip hop culture, and that people are really into it. That I didn't think about South America with hip hop that much, because when we were in Panama, it's a more reggae vibe than it was a hip hop vibe. But then I started learning about you know, Sao Paulo and hip hop, and it really interested me. And I started meeting a lot of people on Facebook and expressing, learning hip hop, learning Portuguese through hip hop, using that to talk to people, get into groups, Brazilian groups, black Brazilian groups, and just meeting a lot of people that opened up different pathways. Then through that, meeting a lot of people, I ended up meeting my wife, who's my wife nowadays, Lena Silva. I met her on Facebook through just meeting different people, Brazilians, and they're like, yo, there's this girl, she's a woman, that's doing real big, good work in the community, and it's a bunch of black women, and they have a house, and they do hip hop. And then somebody was like, "Yeah, you should live it. You should see if you can live there with them." And then somebody gave me her contact And I hit her up in a very professional way. But then I started to slide in there, like, I think you're a rather attractive individual.
Did you talk about her feet to her?
That happened. I actually did. She has a photo. Red nail polish. She was in Italy. I saw the picture, and I think that was one of the first comments that I left, just to let it be known how I am. You know what I mean? I was like, those are amazing feet. The soul to heel ratio. There's you know what I mean?
Yes. Jordan makes no secret about his love for feet, which
I'm open about it.
Yes, I like your little song that you wrote. So you're down here and was she in Capão when you said there was this house where people were making hip hop?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
which was interesting because Capão Redondo is a very big neighborhood for hip hop music. The biggest hip hop group.
The biggest probably is from there.
They're definitely the biggest. And they have a lot of longevity. Racionais MCs, right?
Yes.
Mano Brown, he's from here. I've met him.
There's Capão there, guys. You can see on the screen. Big neighborhood. I got family there, so I'm in Capão sometimes.
And that picture, you see that's a picture of the group up top. If you go up, right there. I'm going down now. You see the graffiti. Down another layer.
That's it. Them. Yeah. There you go. The graffiti. No, but we can see Capão Redondo, Racionais. Yeah, and Racionais, just for those that don't know the history, is one of the early hip hop groups in Brazil, and they got cred almost like I guess Snoop Dogg still has cred up to this day.
It's more than that.
I'm saying, but it's something that people can kind of equate. Jordan, I think it is more too. I agree, but music styles have changed. This has gone here, this has gone there. But if Snoop shows up somewhere, it's like, oh, Snoop Dogg. I think Racionais MC. Like I got young cats that I know that are heavy in funk. They're heavy in trap music. But you put Racionais, it's like okay.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody with hip hop here, man. There's nobody. I've never heard somebody say, "I don't like them." Fuck them. Nobody says that. They are what embodies hip hop in Brazil. The first thing you think about. They're not all from Capão. The two that's in the front in that picture, Icy Blue and Mano Brown, those two are from Capão. But the two in the back, they're from the north side, Zona Norte.
Okay.
DJ Kylie G and Ed Hockey.
So you're talking about, bridging this gap here through music. And I think one thing that is pretty interesting about you is how fluent you are in Portuguese. And, you rap even in Portuguese. How did you find, how were you able to learn the language as well as you do know the language? But two, some of the differences between having to rap in Portuguese, having to rap in English, because I know we talked about Elisa. Elisa's here actually tonight about that. That she has sometimes or had when going back and forth from singing in Portuguese, singing in English. What are some of those things that you could say, from the start?
Well, I would say just like certain things, you think that they're gonna rhyme better than they actually do rhyme because you're hearing it's not your language. You didn't grow up with the language. So for me, the and the ow is the same, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? So when I write hip hop, like I rhyme certain things that rhyme to me, but then I spit it to my wife. She's like, "Good, but that doesn't really rhyme though." It's like it doesn't, So that's one thing. Also, just it's a different language. It's a different way of thinking. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people need to realize. Like there was a girl that I just met, and I like seeing her because she just came here. African American girl just came here. So her vision of how she views things here, the language, the people, the culture, is how I viewed things when I first came here. You know what I'm saying? It took a time. I've been here for a couple of years now. So it took me time to get to this understanding of how the culture works. So like, let's say if I want to say something like in English, I will be late. Like we have the word late. It's an adjective. We have to make a verb out of it. You have to say be late. You know what I mean? To be late. But in Portuguese, they have this verb, atrasar. Vou me atrasar. So it's a difference. When I first started learning the language, I'll be like, eu vou chegar tarde. Right? I always said the word tarde because it's the translation of the word late. So I'm trying to translate something that I would say in English, thinking that in the Portuguese language is going to come out in a way that makes sense to them. It took me a long time to realize that. So I would make raps based on how things are in English translated, but rhyming in Portuguese. But then realized, like, yo, it doesn't work like this, yo. People don't like my raps, man. And then once I started getting into, okay, well, how are they saying it? Let me listen to more and more and more and more. But I gotta update and do a flow differently because it's not just the accent that I want to make a mark. I want to be different than just copying off of a Brazilian artist that already exists.
No, for sure. And Pete, you can probably speak to this because I don't think Pete does a lot of rap.
You be spitting, Pete?
No.
You be flexing those golden pipes?
No. It's not my thing, man.
But as English teachers, I think that's something because Pete does teach English. I think it's
the literal translation thing. I can
literal translation. So opening that up even to people who are trying to learn Portuguese, it's so important to listen. Listen to how people talk, and even to the level of there are books that are going to teach you how to speak Portuguese, but it's so formal. If you think that the English books are formal, and people don't really talk like that, for me, the Portuguese language books are like mega. It's like the King Henry. Right?
Pois não.
Oh, pois não. Yeah, pois não. So you really hear, I think, even more. Like, I think you can get by not sounding like a total square if you speak some of the English in some English books. But you're going to be like a total square if you speak Portuguese the way that they teach in the books. So that's not how they talk. So you got to listen to people. A few friends have learned Portuguese watching novelas, which are the soap operas, and just walking around. I've told this about myself because I was born in Brazil, but I went to the U.S. when I was 6. So I had pretty fluent Portuguese, but it was limited to just conversations in the house. Wash your clothes, go to the whatever. Be home before whatever time. I never had that Portuguese that was free-flowing like we're having a conversation now. So when I came to Brazil, I thought I was the man. I was like, I can speak Portuguese. I'm going to be fine. Man, I said so much dumb shit that I just didn't know. A lot of little...
You asked for dick at the bakery.
Yes. I never, because I grew up with that sound of tone. I never had that problem.
I used to hate that. That's why I used to practice. Because here, for everybody that doesn't know, Portuguese is a very nasally language, right?
Yes.
So you gotta intake some air to say the name of the city in which we all live, right? It's not São Paulo, it's São Paulo, right? You live in a neighborhood that was very difficult for me to say that name, man. I was like, y'all live in Butantã, but it's like a
Butão. Yeah, you gotta go Butantã. Well, Capão, that has the sound.
That has the so it's Capão, right? So the word pão is bread, but the word pau is dick. Pau, pão. It's very similar.
Yeah.
I had to practice that in the mirror because every time I went to the bakery, like, I'll have some pau. Say it again. Listen to him. Listen to what he's gonna ask.
That's why you always get more than one, man. The plural is a lot easier. It's pies,
No, not pies, because pies is parents. It's pães. See, even that it's a little difficult. It's pães.
No, pies is pies.
Well, pies, but it could be two dads. Meus pais, my mom and dad. Meus pais são de blah blah blah. So yes, it's a complicated language with these pronunciations. My thing was the diminutive, and you can't diminutive everything. So I did ask for condoms a couple times and panties, because you can put inyo in anyo or inyo in a lot of things. Like copinho, I have a little cup, I have a cup. But then, yes, I asked for a camisinha, which a camisinha is a condom, So you say camiseta or camisa pequena. In calcinha, you can't say for pants. You say calça, but you can't say calcinha because a calcinha is some panties. Nothing wrong with that.
Panties, right? It's very similar in both languages.
Yes. So then you got to say uma calça pequena. Uma calça pequena.
But you know what's really interesting in this conversation? I didn't realize that you can have a realization about the Portuguese language in books that I never realized because I've never read a book. I've never not read a book, but I've never studied Portuguese with books.
Yeah.
I did. I think I had a really good book, but that was the problem. I didn't have a good teacher for it. But it taught a lot of stuff that you wouldn't see ordinarily, at least in my experience in English textbooks. Like it taught the imperative tenses, which is something that is really unique to Portuguese. Like in English, we just put exclamation marks in the end of sentences, but they have a whole tense for that shit in Portuguese.
But they don't use it that much, though. That's what I realized.
Unless you say foda-se.
Yeah.
And also, it's like if you can say coma and you can say come, and it doesn't matter. It's the way you say it, and it's how because the imperative is very strange. It's one of the things that I still don't know very well about Portuguese. I don't use it.
It's mysterious for me.
I just say the word. Yeah, I don't fucking use that shit because I don't really because I can't understand when people. I don't hear people using it where I live. People don't use it. They just say the word normally. A lot of ways that they probably teach in books, people don't talk like that around here. Especially young people. They talk like how we in the United States, young black people talk in the urban community. You know what I'm saying? We is and things like that. Because here they're like, yo, parça, nós vai beber you would say nós vamos, but they say nós vai. And so when I hear that around me, I'm like, I don't have to be all fucking. You know what I mean? I could be.
Yeah, no, you don't have to be as proper in Portuguese, and even you probably wouldn't want to say nós vai in a meeting room or something. No, but there's still a lot of informality in the language, even in the formal. So a word like a gente is wrong Portuguese, but we say it all the time, from the director of a business to the workers, the low workers. They'll say a gente, but it's not correct Portuguese. You got to say conosco. So Portuguese is very flexible. Brazilian Portuguese, especially, and for those that want to reference, it's almost like British English versus American English, but times double. It's even more of a gap.
Because I think British English and American English is a lot more similar.
Yes.
I can't really understand people from Portugal that much. They cut
the accent. Yeah, no, the accent is extra. I'm just talking about the language itself. If you read Portuguese from Portugal, it's basically the same, but it is more formal sounding. But the gap between the two countries, I think, is larger than the gap of the formality, because I think British English is a bit more formal than American English, but it's not as big of a gap of Portugal to Brazil. Craig here is asking, by the way, how are you, Craig?
Okay. What's up, brother? I was just waiting for the right moment.
Yes, he's asking what your method was for learning Portuguese. And we're going to go to this question, Bishop, then I want to move ahead, talk about some other things, but go ahead.
Okay, method, like I said, it was just natural because I was a fan of something. So I think if you find something that you have that makes you a fan, it comes naturally because I can't understand. I grew up in the United States like everybody did, I think, right? You're not Canadian, are you, Peter?
I am, yeah.
You're playing, or you're
No, I'm serious.
Okay. I was just making because I said we're all from the United States, but then okay. You didn't say anything. You didn't say
Well,
anything.
I don't really think it's like the sort of thing that needs to be explained, like we're
Okay.
all from
You're
somewhere else.
probably within 100 miles from the border, definitely. So
Actually, I'm below the border. My hometown is Victoria, BC, which is
okay,
actually below the 49th parallel. Like you can see
okay,
Washington State from the shoreline.
okay. That makes sense. There are grizzly bears in that area. All right, let me continue though. Let me continue.
Yeah.
So
I thought, no, Bishop, I thought you were about to say, like, I hate all Canadians.
oh, why would I?
Like, I
Why
was
would I
prepared
hate
for
you,
something like that. Like,
Southwest?
Pete, you're not Canadian, right? Because I'm about to talk some shit.
No, he didn't say anything, and I was just like, we're all American here, and he's like, well, I would have been like, what, I'm not. But all right. So basically, because I grew up in the United States or Canada, you don't really listen to a lot of music in other languages that much. So I've
Yeah.
never thought about listening to music that I didn't understand. But now that I live in here in Brazil, it's something that people do a lot, like be super fans of
Yeah.
something, but you never thought to translate it. I'm not like that. You know what I mean? If I'm a super fan of something, I gotta know what the hell they talking about. And the first song that I learned what it was Negro Drama from Racionais MC. That shit blew my mind when I translated the lyrics. I'm like, oh shit, because just mind you, I'm coming from Panama. In Panama, the black women, they irritated me. I love Panama and I love the people, but I was at a place where I wanted to meet women, and they were all wanted. Like Peter would have racked up in Panama. While you know what I mean, I suffered, and they were brutally honest. You know what they said to me, Peter? They were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we want to make our race better." Like they use those words. They're
Oh,
like,
Oh man.
they have a saying in Panama, mejorar la raza, right?
yeah.
I'm not making this shit up. Brazilians do it too, but Panamanians, that shit was another level. They're like, yeah, you're black. I'm like, you are too. Yeah, I know. I can't be with you. And I'm like, oh shit, this is weird. So like when I found out, like when I'm listening to Negro Drama and he's talking about black community in Brazil and all the shit that we got going on, and I'm like, yo, this sounds a lot like the shit we go through you know what I mean, in the United States as as black people in the hood. And I'm like, this shit just opened my mind because it's a whole different culture, a whole different, climate, a whole different part of the world, and they talking
Yeah.
about the same things translated. And so when I found that one, I'm like, well, there's got to be more. And so I went to all the songs from Racionais, the whole Sobrevivendo Inferno, Surviving Hell. That's one of their CDs. Listened to all of it. I learned all the words. Then I went to Sabotage.
Yeah,
Then I was like, oh, this shit is great. Then I went to RZO. I'm like, wow, this shit is. So I just became a super fan. So when you ask me what my method is, I'm like, yo, it's just if you like anything a lot, you're gonna learn it. And then when you learn a song
get something.
and you learn the lyrics within that song, the Portuguese in those lyrics, it doesn't go away. It wasn't made just for those lyrics. It was a real word and a real sentence. So like for example, in Negro Drama, Entre Sucesso e Alama. So what he said was black drama, right? Between success and the mud. But now that I know the word entre means between, I can say entre a casa e o hospital, right? Between the house and the hospital. I could do anything with that. I learned that from that line in that song. I'll learn another line and another line, and I make other sentences and other sentences. And so at that point, I realized that I was able to create sentences without ever having to have a class in Portuguese. I'm talking to people now on the internet, and then that's when it comes to a whole nother level because people are asking me things. And I don't know what it is, and I feel stupid when people ask me things I don't know what it is. So I look it up so that doesn't happen again. And then I remember the word next time, and now I'm ready. And then I hate when people ask me things I don't know what it is, and I look it up, and it doesn't make sense because in Portuguese the thought process is different. So now I'm looking up, what the fuck does this mean? I'm going on Google Images. That's what people need to do more than going on Google Translate.
Yes.
You type something in Google Images and you see the image. It's in your mind now. You translate a word. Sometimes that word doesn't make sense. Saudades. It is going to translate in a different way, but you put that in Google Images and you see how somebody's hugging somebody or doing this or something like that. Luto. These words that don't translate really well. Morning, I don't know, but like sometimes Google Images will tell you the story in a
Well,
better
that's
way.
great advice, and I think even when we're teaching English, we sometimes it's quick, just give them a translation, but a lot of times you learn faster. Now, to your point, look at this, guys. I stepped off camera a little bit because I wanted to grab some magazines. Look at this guy. Look at the purple one. Rolling
Oh,
magazine.
Yeah, it's the anniversary of his death today, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I believe it is.
that's a coincidence right there.
We got Joey Ramone, the Ramones, 40 anos de Ramones. So, I like nerdy stuff. So, the Almanac of Records. Guys, this is what helped me with my Portuguese, because I couldn't read Portuguese very well. Like, that was my main thing. Like, I could speak it reasonably well to get around. I still had a bit of a gringo accent when I came down here. But I never once in my life had to read Portuguese. I didn't grow up having to read or write Portuguese. So I was in a weird position. Porque quando eu falava português, you think, oh, he's a Brazilian, doesn't have that strong of an accent. If you start listening, you can hear my accent. So then I'd be like trying to close a deal or whatever to have classes, and then I got to send an email to the client, and then they're going to be like, oh, he's a very illiterate Brazilian. So it was a very embarrassing point for me. So I was like, I got to get my reading up. So I started with comic books because I'm into comic books, Batman, Spider-Man, whatever. And then, I moved up to like longer stuff. I'm into music. So, of course, I bought me some Rolling Stones. And, eventually I got to a point where I read Descartes in Portuguese and I could understand, what the hell he was talking about. And I was like, oh, shit, I can actually read in like a deep philosophical book in Portuguese. So, but that goes to Jordan's point. And of course, I learned a lot through the music. You learn so much here listening to music. Me more, Gilberto Gil, Caetano, Betânia, who sings so many, she has a lot of poetry in her lyrics. You learn so many cool words. But yeah, get into something that you like. If you like science, buy some little comic book or something that talks about science, nothing too hard at the beginning or you'll give up, and then slowly go up and really get into stuff that you're into. So you talked a little bit, you said when you listen to that Racionais MC song, the first one, the Negro Drama. Right. So, and you said, oh, this is a black person in Brazil talking about some of the same things, that maybe was my lived experience or your lived experience in the U.S. But I want you to talk just a little bit about that. When you come to live in Capão, which many people consider to be there are favelas in there, but the whole neighborhood is not a favela.
It's not. I've never lived in a favela.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't consider Capão a favela. It's a periferia, it's on the outskirts. It's a suburb. So usually those places are have areas that are lower income. Some areas not very low income, actually very expensive. But you saw in the pictures, it's not living in Morumbi or Avenida Paulista with the skyscrapers and the first world amenities and all that stuff.
That first world amenities here, though. There are some.
I agree. And the neighborhood's gotten like I hadn't been there in about 5 years. I went to visit my little sister. I was like, wow, this is Capão. Like, it's changed a lot since 2009, 2010, when I used to go there all the time. Mm-hmm. But can you just speak a little bit to what you feel is a difference or similarities going from middle-class neighborhood in the U.S. to middle-class neighborhood in Brazil? How people act. Is it an option for people that don't want to live in the city center? Is it something that you recommend? Hey, live out in the suburbs. Like, what are your feelings on that?
I wouldn't recommend anybody doing anything. You know what I mean? Because I don't want anybody doing something that said, yo, I did it because you said I should do it and I got robbed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna recommend it. Hell no. But like I said, like, I did grow up in like kind of in a middle class area. I would say a lower middle class area. I was born into, you know what I'm saying, a situation with projects and shit like that. But my wife, my mother, my father. This is what happened in my story. Living in Newark, my father got locked up when I was a baby. You know what I mean? And my mother moved while he was locked up, she moved me into Plainfield because we were in a dangerous neighborhood when we were living in Newark. But my father is from there, you know what I mean? So like, and he's respected by a lot of people. And so when he came out, we were already living in my grandmother's basement in Plainfield, New Jersey, where my mother grew up. I grew up in the basement in my grandmother's house, which is a decent sized house. A lot of people in my family, everybody's there. You know what I mean? So I grew up with a lot of people, but I'm always back and forth in Newark. And so there's a lot of crime in these areas. You know what I'm saying? Even in Plainfield, it's a lot less, like, because it's a small city. It's only 47,000 people that live in the city of Plainfield, New Jersey. But in Norton, New Jersey, a city that has 200 and something thousand, we were celebrating 56 homicides. It's May. It's going to be the election, so I will say, if anybody from North New Jersey is watching this video, get out there and vote for Ras Baraka. You know what I mean? For mayor again.
Be careful with your recommendations. I'm joking.
Yeah.
So, well, if there's nothing better, because he's been the mayor. So we've gotten down to 56 homicides in a year in North New Jersey, and that's, you know what I'm saying, that's a big
40,000 people? That's insane.
No, that's Plainfield. Plainfield has 40,000 people. North New Jersey has about 230,000 people.
Okay. That's still pretty crazy.
I mean, usually it's about what? It's from 80 to 100 or something. Baltimore has 400 and some thousand people. How many homicides they had this year? They had like, what, 600 homicides in 2021?
Oh, man. That's the Wire shit, man.
Yes. No, I know what you're talking about from a different perspective, because I live close to Camden. And Camden, at one point, I remember when I was a teenager, when Camden was ranked the murder capital of the U.S. Like,
for 3 years consecutively.
Yes.
My sister lives in Willingboro, which is right outside of Camden.
Oh, I know Willingboro.
I know Camden well, man. Like, I remember I went to a party in Camden. My sister, she called because I was visiting her, and I just left. And my boy was there. He was like, "Yo, come to the party." And I came. I went there. I drove to my sister's house. I drove to the party. My sister was like, "Yo, where are you? Just left." I'm like, "Yo, I'm at this party." Where at? I didn't want to say Camden. I told her where, and she looked it up. She's like, "Yo, that's Camden." She came and got me, man. She made me drive and follow her back to her house.
Get out.
Wait,
I'm going to steer it back because of this point that we just made. And I'll tell you just an experience from me, and then you tell me if you have a similar experience. Because actually, the girl you were talking about, I met her on the weekend, and I told her exactly the same thing. I mean, Brazil can be dangerous. São Paulo can be dangerous, but I've never felt like just total fear for my life. Like they say in Portuguese, o cu na mão. You know, you got your asshole in your hand.
Everything is with asshole here.
They're ass worshippers, man. They're ass worshippers.
Just one really quick pause. I've become an ass connoisseur since I've been here. It's a part of that I've never been
got to.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm down here? I was an ass connoisseur.
But I've never paid so much attention to that part of the body.
Oh, I have. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but me not. I haven't. I'm, a little green with it. Brazil will, not hypersexualizing at all. But just the fact that it's in a lot of different expressions, you see a type of respect for the part of the.
Yeah, no, the ass is gold.
This is the home of the Miss Bum Bum pageant. Man.
Yeah, Miss Boom Boom, Mulher Melancia. I was gonna say yes. It's a home of the Miss Boom Boom, Miss Ass contest.
No, I don't want to take it there though.
No, it's fine. But it's a reality down here. There's a lot of ass, man. But I've gotten ass since I come here. I was assless in the U.S. I've even gotten an ass since I've been down here. But I told her, I said, look, the only place I've ever been like scared shitless for my life, like what am I doing here, was Southwest Philly. I was like, why am I here? Like, what decisions have I made in my life that led me to this place? And I can't say I've been to sketchy places here in São Paulo, and even in Rio, like Centro of Rio, like downtown Rio was a little sketchy.
It's a weird place. It is.
Yeah, it's like, let me get out of here quick. But I've never been like scared shitless for my life like I was there. So what is your experience with that? Like just being in, because you don't live in a favela, but I'm sure you've been in and out of them. Like, what is your experience with that here in São Paulo?
Yo, it's the same thing you said. Like, for example, like for me, the scariest moment of my life was in my own house. You know what I'm saying? My first broke into my house armed. You know, I was sleeping. They took my shit. And this was like 3 months before I moved to Brazil. You know, that was one of the scariest moments of my life. So I came here already traumatized by violence. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just counting down the days to not have to sleep in my own bed because I woke up to dudes with guns in front of me and taking my shit at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? I was ass naked. That is a huge vulnerability because I'm like, damn, and not knowing these dudes is from my neighborhood and not knowing like who set me up. It was a girl that I had in my crib that knows where I hide the key. You know what I'm saying? Like they came in there knowing shit. So when I came here, I was just already, you know, expecting like, yo, anything can happen because I'm like, I already just went through that, you know. Yes. Years passed by before I went through something. I did go through something here, but it's nothing that I haven't gone through before. You know what I mean? Like I got robbed by police at the drug spot.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could have easily used my American card. And it's like I'm from the United States, but I live there. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't be telling people that. They think I'm from somewhere, but I just try to avoid the questioning. You know what I mean? And just hope that they think I'm from like an African country or something like that, and they just leave me alone. Like they're like, "Hey, gringo," I'm like, when I went there, you know, my spidey senses were tingling because usually when I buy my drugs, this is marijuana, but it's a drug. You know what I'm saying? So I don't use anything else. When I do that, I usually there's a gate. You know what I'm saying? And I usually get it from the gate. The dude was calling me inside. And our spidey senses were tingling, but I'm like, yo, I want to smoke, man. So I went there, and he's like, what you want? And I was like, yo, give me 10, 10 reals worth. And he was like, nah, you don't want that. You want this. And he put a 38.
Oh, shit.
On my nose, yo. Like, I'm like, damn, my wife was in the car. She saw it. Like, I was just mad about that. I just looked at him in the eyes. I didn't say anything. I'm like, damn, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And everybody's just like looking like, yo, don't say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? So I showed no fear. That's the 5th time in my life that I've had a gun directly in my face like that. So it's become a comfortable place. So, like I know how to react in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So that happened. I'm saying this to say that every time I've been involved in some shit around here, it's always been the police. I've never been robbed by a gangster. There's strict rules here. The only other time I had guns, I had I don't know my guns. I don't know my my fully automatic
makes and models
like that. It was like a Uzi looking type of gun, but it wasn't a Uzi. It's one of them SIGs, whatever. They just hopped out. You know how they have them pointing out the car.
Already. Oh yeah.
They're ready. You know what I'm saying?
They come already. I know. Well, Pete's had guns to his head down here.
Yeah,
just outside my house.
Well, yeah, yeah. But I mean, like the police here, they play with their guns, man. Like they're so like happy to have their guns. I've seen cops like doing traffic stops, just like kind of twirling their guns in their hand. Just
you would probably do it too, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. I think because of the culture that we come from, like we're taught like responsible firearm use,
Sure.
Here I don't think they get that. It's like, oh cool, I got a gun, it's awesome.
It's a hyper masculinity thing. So even though like
I've seen female cops do it too, though. I saw a female cop scratching her leg with her gun the other day.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's different. I never saw that before.
That is different. No, but I feel you. But I think that's important, like for folks that are thinking about coming here, which is part of our audience. A portion of our audience are people who are thinking of coming to Brazil, and there's a fear of like, and it's understandable fear of living outside of the city center. And I'm with
fear
Jordan.
Living in the city center. That's why like I fear living there. That shit is disgusting. Just no offense to anybody that lives there, you know what I'm saying? But
name Stephanie, by the way.
No, Stephanie.
I'm joking.
She lives in an oasis inside of hell. That's the thing. Like, yo, where she lives is crazy because it's so beautiful inside of that complex. The moment you step out of there,
It's Walking Dead. But
Come
one
on,
block over, it's very nice. The other block over, you're like under the Mioncão. But when I say city center, I don't mean like downtown São Paulo. I mean just like an area that's
anywhere between the
central.
rivers. Anywhere between
Yeah,
the rivers,
Paulista, Pinheiros, Jardins.
Well, I also will say this:
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable in those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Number one, there's no life there. Like there's no life, yo. Like I love Capão. Like for example, Capão's one thing. Paraisópolis is a whole different animal. There's a dude, another black expat, Huey. He lives in Paraisópolis. He invited me to this party one night that he didn't even show up to. Me and my wife went to the party. That was my first time at night in Paraisópolis on a Saturday. Yo, I never seen anything like that in my life. Literally, never seen anything.
Oh yeah, I've been to the 17, the what do you call it? The big baile that they have there, and yeah, it's fucking. Let me get it here so y'all can see what we're talking about. It's insane, and for those that don't know, is it showing? The baile is just a street party, okay? And this is Paraisópolis. I think it's the biggest favela in São Paulo.
It's like Villa Sonia, isn't it?
The second biggest in São Paulo.
Second biggest.
I think Heliópolis is the biggest.
Oh yes, Heliópolis. They have a big baile. So yeah, folks, get here, go on the street. There are bars and clubs in here. So BEJ is one of the famous ones. BEJ, but it all flows out into the street, and it'll go until the morning, as you can see in this picture. And man, this picture doesn't do it justice. It's like this times 1,000. There you go. That's a little bit more like
out there, yo.
It's a lot of people, dude. I couldn't do it. Like it's way. Look at this. You can't walk. Like that's what happened with me yesterday.
It's hard to walk. But I mean, I didn't see that party though. When I went there to the party it was an indoor party. But yo, there was just like every corner was a party with about 300 people at it on every different corner.
No, it's insane. It's a lot of money, it's just way too many people. Like Pete, that's why. Like I went to the block yesterday to look for Pete. I didn't think it was going to be that big, so we should have coordinated better. But so I was like, I'll find Pete. Man, I walked one time, towards where the main music was going. Didn't see him. Walk back. I needed to breathe, and then I did it again when they moved to the left side of the street. And I'm like, no, I cannot be here with this many people. I just get wigged out. But this is way back. It's nothing Brazilian. I remember when I was like 18 or so in Philly, like when they had the New Year's, and it's when there's way too many people on the street, I get weirded out. Like shit can go down. And in fact, in Paraisópolis, some shit went down with me when I was there because the police showed up. Because eventually the neighbors complained. You're like, yo, we need this shut down. It's way too much noise. And they came in there with their, what do you call those, smoke guns? The tear gas, whatever.
Tear gas, rubber bullets.
Oh, man. And everybody running here. And I'm like, no, this is
They killed people there. You remember that year that was like 2 years, like a year before the pandemic? They killed like 9 people. But it's always the police. What you don't hear about in São Paulo, Periferia, is man killed another man because he stepped on his shoe. Shit like that you hear about in parties in the hoods in the United States. You know why? We don't have any fucking order. There's no order. You look at Mexican gangs, Latino gangs in general, but specifically the Mexican gangs, Norteños, Sureños, Mexican Mafia, all these gangs, they have a strict hierarchy. They have who is the leader, they have the lieutenant, they have structure. You look at the Bloods, you look at the Crips, you look at the Vice Lords, you look at the GD, BD, all of these black gangs that we have that's super popular. And what do you see? Ain't no Bloods, ain't no Crips. It's Bounty Hunter. It's Sex Money Murder. It's Gangsta Killer Bloods. It's Treetop. It's you see what I'm saying? It's all divided, and there's no leadership anymore. These kids, they just do whatever they want. We don't have that leadership, so that's why crime is brazen and it's for nothing because you don't have anybody. So when you look at the Brazilian gangs, it's almost like the Mexican cartel structure. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know that well because I never spent no time in Mexico. But from what I look at, it's very similar.
It seems like, and it seems more like it here in São Paulo than it is in some of the gangs going north of São Paulo.
But they're different. They're starting to faction off because if you look at the main São Paulo gang, they got them in the north too. They got their comrades.
Oh, they do, and it does organize it a little bit better. And I think Pete and I have said this a bunch of times here, is you pretty much, depending on where in the favela you are, I think there's places that, hey, this is off limits if you're not from here. But pretty much if you're in a favela or in one of these more suburban hoods, you'll be all right, Yeah, you gotta.
I wouldn't say that.
It depends on the favela and where you are in the favela.
In the favela,
and who you are. Like I lived in favela São Paulo for a few months, and on my street, like I was cool. But you know how favela São Paulo is? It's like it's on that hill, right?
Yeah, just
and you start going up the hill, and you get to places where people don't know you. Then you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't live in favela because I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? So like that's like somebody moving to the United States not to better their life, but like just to have an experience and living in the projects. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that'd be stupid.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't actually like this guy at school I worked at said they're like, did you do that for the experience? I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like, who the fuck would want that experience?
No, if I'm writing a book or if I'm making a vlog or something like that, yeah, maybe I would do something like
that. No, I got the address actually when I was moving to Sao Paulo from Jundiaí, and like I just didn't know. Like this one place I had lined up fell through, but the landlady felt bad. She's like, oh no, I got a friend who's got a place to rent. So I was like walking around with my suitcase and just this piece of paper with the address. And I'm like, oh, are you fucking shitting me? Like, this is it? But I mean, I really had no choice. I moved there that day with like no place to move into.
No, I feel you. But I still, by the way, Travelmatic, we're going to get some of your questions. We're going to switch topics a little bit. But this always just interests me, like, different living experiences. Because I grew up in South Jersey, which it was a pretty mixed neighborhood, your regular old suburban neighborhood. But when I had to go into Philly, which was kind of like my backyard is Philadelphia. A lot of people from South Jersey ID is Philadelphia because it's so close. So when I would go there, like I said, Southwest Philly was the most fear I ever had in my life, but West Philly wasn't much better. But there was always this tension that I would feel when I walked into a ghetto or like a lower class neighborhood of like, you're not from here, like from the gate, like the first step you take on that block. Whereas here, I just never felt that. Like I've been in many favelas because I have family that are from favelas. My father lives in Capão, but he lives in the Quebrada, like real favela part of Capão. My little cousin is Cidade Tiradentes, which is far east side. And I never felt like this fear of like, oh my God, I'm walking into the wrong place here. It's still while I still understand that, yes, even in Jaqueline, I live like walking distance from Jaqueline. I understand that, okay, I do have friends there, I do have family there. But there's places in Jaqueline that here they call the miolo, when you're in the core, that I'm not going to walk there by myself. I'm not from there. So that's, something that is just different about the ghetto, if you want to call it, experience here versus the ghetto experience in the U.S. For me.
We're more aggressive, yo. I love my people, you know what I mean? I love Black Americans with all my heart. I have so much pride and being a part of the Black American community and everything that we brought to the table in this world, you know what I mean? I talk about it a lot in Portuguese, but I see sometimes in our community that we could be very aggressive. For example, I go back home and I go visit with Lena, and the way she walk around with her booty shirts and stuff like that out here, I would be like, yo, don't do that in my city, yo, because it's gonna cause me problems. Not because I'm trying to be machista, because for me, be like Brazil, walk around the way you want to walk around. I don't care, but it's gonna cause me problems because somebody's gonna try to test me to get at you. You know what I mean? Because that's what we do sometimes. And
Yes.
I know that. And every time like I go around, I have this in my mind, like people are just like to do stuff sometimes. But here,
yes, they just want to test you. They want to test
you. They want to fuck with you. So like they fuck with my boy. He was walking with his girl. He was like, "Yo, you sexy bitch." And then my boy turned around and some dudes in the van. He was like, "Yo, you see me? I'm with my girl." He was like, "Yo, shut the fuck up." And he took out his gun. And he's like, "Yo, you about to kill me for what?" And then he just drove off.
Yeah, that's the stuff I don't miss. Like I'll go to, okay, so you go to the Paraisópolis with this big ass party. Yeah, there's always gonna be some young boys who don't know how to drink, and then you bump into them by mistake. They want to start shit, but it's not like something that I go there with that in mind already. That's gonna happen. Like you go to a party here, 99% of the time, motherfuckers are just happy. They're drunk. They're having a good time. They're dancing. You end up like you can go alone here to a party and you'll make friends. You know, like friends for one night, but you'll make friends. So it's a different experience. I want to ask. Oh no, Travelmatic. He's had a couple questions. I want to get.
But before we answer his question, I just want to say one thing though. It's also people that's in the places. I can't say that you'll be safe because I'm safe because I don't stunt. I look like a bum when I be walking around. You know what I mean? Like people don't think, oh shit, I don't have Jordans. Even when I look nice, I'm not stunting with it. I'm just looking nice and going out. I got a regular car. You know what I mean? I live in a regular house. My house is nice. You know what I mean? But it's not like, yo, he got a mansion. He's walking around like this. You know what I'm saying? If you come out here with some Jordans on your feet, gold chain, looking loud, and you go to any neighborhood or even in the center of the city, you were probably gonna get got, you know. Like, but the same if you come to my hood in the United States, somebody's gonna get you. They ain't gonna let you get up out of there. So that's what I want to answer you. It's also your behavior, because for me, the only thing that I ever worry about is the police here, because they're unpredictable. But the people that's in the community that I live in that's causing violence, I don't think I'm gonna be a target. I think they know that the targets that with the crime organization allows is to go to those places that you mentioned that you said, why do I want to live there? Those are the places that the crime says, all right, y'all can go rob them. And that's how it should be. I'm not saying I'm not condoning violence, but it makes more sense to rob rich people than it does for you to rob poor people that you're trying to go
I'm with you. Because I lived in Moema for a little bit when I first got here. And it's your easy neighborhood. You know, it's your first time in Brazil, which it was mine. I mean, I started in Taboão da Serra, but I moved there. And I was like, okay, this is very easy. This is very like, you know, grid, sidewalks, you know, like everything's set up as a grid.
It's on the grid,
Yeah.
I miss grid. I do miss that.
Yeah. But man, it was dangerous as fuck. Luckily, you know, almost nothing ever really happened to me there. But the rich areas here are the areas where you're going to get jacked and they'll shoot you because they expect you to have a Gucci watch or, you know, the black credit card, whatever. Not to say here where I live, there isn't crime. I got mugged once here. I got mugged once in my neighborhood. The other time, though, was really weird. Is these kids try to mug me, and I hit them with that line, Jordan. I said, yo, like, I'm in and out of the favela all day. I got family here. You're going to rob me? And the older kid, they were like young. They were like 15. And then there was one, you know, with two that were older, looked like 20-something. And he told the boys to give me my shit back because I didn't notice while I'm yelling at them. I'm yelling at them. Why are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then one of them had pickpocketed me. I didn't notice. He took my wallet. And then the guy was like, yo, give his shit back. But I gave him that speech. I got on my high horse. I was like, look, I respect that you got to do your shit. Like, you got to run your game. It is what it is. But look over here, man. Come on. You know, go rob some Playboy. Here they call the white folks the Playboys. Go rob some Playboy in Morumbi. Yeah, like I got 20 reais in I got 20 reais in a cheap phone. Come on. Go rob some of those folks that got some money. And they're like, yeah. But the crime is very much based on social level here. But Travelmatic here, we're going to switch topics a little bit.
Yeah, well, this topic we can actually skip because that's going to be in our quiz at the end.
Oh, yeah. Look at Pete.
Yeah, you're robbing.
We're going to skip that question. We're going to skip that question. But Travelmatic did say, I would like to get his opinion, that being Jordan, on interracial dating. His experience in Panama was interesting. Between Panama and Brazil, were lighter-skinned Latinas more interested in your guest, which would be Jordan. So, who was more interested in you, in Brazil or Panama?
Nobody, and nobody was interested in me. I felt like I was musty and crusty, and I think I was though, because you know what it was, I wasn't accustomed to the cold showers, so I think I didn't take long enough showers in that heat.
Yeah.
No, but then you got Lena. By the way, kisses to Lena because I love that woman so much. I don't know if she's listening or if she's doing her
thing. She hears everything. She's in the bed. Okay. On the desktop.
I love that woman. But you know what it is? You got a woman, man. She fixed your ass up.
That's what on Brazil. I can't answer the question for Brazil, but in Panama, I was suffering, man. But my opinion on interracial dating, I don't have an opinion. Because you know why? I'm an individual. And every other person is an individual free to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You know what I mean? When I was single, it bothered me. Because it bothered me in Panama, not in the United States. I don't care. You know, but in Panama, I was just like, damn, what type of warped mindset is that? That you hate yourself so much that you're running to the opposite so that your baby will come out. Like, if you just like people because they were people and you liked it and didn't care about what race they were, that's one thing. But if you're specifically looking for any person because they're white, because I worked with a guy at Berlitz. We worked at a place called Berlitz in Panama.
I know Berlitz. Yeah.
Do you like red? No. Right? We had to do all that stupid shit because you couldn't use it, their language, in Spanish. So you had to, Well, we worked there, and there was this guy, he was decomposing. You know what I mean? I don't know what he was like. His hair was falling. He was getting all slimy and shit. Probably took a bath like once per month, at least a week. I don't know, but like Greek origin, cool dude. But like you had to talk to him like this because he emitted a strong.
Let me guess. He was getting a lot of pussy.
He was getting. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, this is weird, yo. I'm like, yo, they don't smell him. They close.
No, but look, I can speak to that a little bit because with the gay, I enjoy my dick in my ass. But in the gay world, it's the same, dude, and it's very frustrating. Where there'll be some fat white dude, again, nothing against it, whatever, but it's like I show up and it's like I'm invisible and I get so mad. I'm like, dude, look, you guys said it yourself. I'm looking good. And then, but I can't get any play. It takes a while. Now, because in Travelmatic, this is a bit historical because there were laws put in the books here in Brazil, and I was just reading about something similar. I think it was Uruguay, because I read this cool article about some, a tribe from Nigeria or Senegal that ended up actually, maintaining their culture, and it was either Uruguay or Paraguay. Anyway, and they were really strong for a long time until these laws were passed in like the early 20th century. Similar laws in Brazil that were to whiten the race, and they opened up immigration for Europeans. And the mixing here is much more pernicious than the mixing in the U.S. Like the mixing here was made for the the express purpose of whitening the race. So when you see the mixed marriages, it's not because, like the loving couple, from the case that allowed interracial marriage in the U.S. It's not this. It's not a white guy that met a black girl and wow, it's a black guy who wants to end that race. So in
his mind, but look, it's not like that because in his mind, he thinks that it's all subconscious, right?
Yes.
So you promote here in Brazil. If I'm a black, darker skinned man and I have a black wife, my chances of succeeding in life is different than if I marry a white woman that's already in there. So maybe his first thing is like, yo, she's hot and she's going to get me in the door in a lot of places. That other girl's black. She's cool. She was down for me back in the day. But, I can't do that. I might get my wife with her, but I got to be with this woman to get into a certain door.
It doesn't go that way that much though here. Like here, most of the interracial in terms of black white, because there's of course a lot of different ethnic groups and mixed ethnicities here, but you usually tend to see black white interracial couples as like black women and white men.
Yes,
like they're always like they're trading up. As far as they're concerned, you don't see it go the other way that much.
No, you don't.
I see a lot of it, both, but yeah, it's more. It's definitely more.
It's more this. I was talking to Jackie about this that I met this weekend, and as like not 10 minutes after we had this conversation, she's like, "Oh, look, it's what you were talking about." And what was it? It was a white guy walking down the street with a black girl. Now I'll give you. So it is all kind of subconscious and. Maybe, now people don't even think of it like that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about it. They don't want to talk about it.
But it is a subconscious thing of like, yes, you're leveling up. Like Pete said, if you're a black woman and you meet a white guy, you're going to have a mixed race kid, which is going to be, I recognize it in myself. I'm lighter skinned than Jordan is. Of course, I know I have some.
We're the exact same skin complexion.
No, when we're together, you're a little bit darker by a little bit. But we understand, but Jordan, you understand as a black person, lighter skinned blacks have a little bit more,
flexibility.
Flexibility. So I know that. I knew that in the US. But so they're leveling up in that sense. But all of this, I say to say what? It's gotten better. Like I've seen much more since I've been here. I've been in Brazil for about 11 years. I've seen the black movements be more like black for black, black is beautiful, all that stuff that was going on in the 70s in the US. Brazil's a little bit slow with catching up with stuff. Sure. Natural hair, Lena, it's got the beautiful natural hair, braids, black is beautiful, black couples, blah, 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 blah. It's gotten stronger here. So.
And it continues to get stronger and stronger. Like, yes. What's weird, people talk about representativity. I think Black Panther movie, man, it opened up a lot of like the conversations within Black Brazilians to talk about these things, because for a long time they didn't think about it and talk about it. Like I'm really deep in with a lot of Black Brazilians in these movies that you talk about. I talk to a lot of them. I know a lot of people here, always willing to meet more and just build. And like they all say the same thing. Our parents never prepared ourselves for a racial world. Our parents cut our hair low. We weren't wearing afros. We weren't wearing the boys I'm talking about. We weren't wearing braids and afros. It was just a low cut because you couldn't let it grow more than the thumbnail or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there were avoided conversations being avoided from generations.
I know. I grew up in a household like that.
Huh?
I grew up in a household like that. My mother's Brazilian, my father, and it was the same thing. And that was another thing I was talking to Jackie about, is that I never felt the need to identify as black until I got to Brazil, because I saw it as a political statement. I never felt that in the US, but also because I didn't grow up in a household where we talked about things like that, because that's the Brazilian way, But then I realized how I had internal racism. Only looking back, I remember when I was 13 and saying, "Oh, why is my nose so big? Why are my lips so big?" Because I wasn't as cute as the other boys, as the white boys. And only looking back did I realize, oh my God, I had a lot of self-hate, because
that's interesting that you say that, because this is something where I would say that we do have a slight of advantage in the United States, because I never had those feelings. I never had those feelings because I was always made like black is beautiful. Like in my household, like my father's part of Nation of Islam. Mm-hmm. My family's like black family, traditional black Baptist family on my mother's side. And, we were always taught in our community is super segregated. Like I only grew up with black people. Mm-hmm. And the girls, like the black girls in my school, yes. White boys were not the standard of beauty for them,
Yes.
That was nothing. They never even thought like our world didn't exist. So all the heartthrobs that were like white, we weren't even looking at that. Those girls were looking at all of the, Omarion and.
Exactly. And that's where my experience was different, because I didn't grow up in that. I grew up in a mixed neighborhood. In my street, we were the only black family. There was a black family next door. or we didn't talk to them. So it was different. It's different in that sense. Guys, that's an intense topic. But which, by the way, you can get all the black ass you want, Pete. You deserve it. Okay. We
The last girl I dated was black, actually, but
there you go.
That didn't work out. Yeah.
Did you inseminate?
Jesus Christ. I don't know how to literally answer that. It was safe.
So no, if it doesn't go inside, right?
Yeah, okay.
Eggs don't have a chance if the
there was no breeding going on.
Okay.
Yes. This stuff has changed Travelmatic. It's changed for the better. But I do know one thing. Like I went to Germany some years ago, and it was such an eye-opening experience for me because here in Brazil, I'm treated like just another pretinho, another black dude from the ghetto, whatever, until I start speaking English or something. And Elisa can talk about this. When she used to sing at Fasano, she's told me this story, and I hope you don't mind me sharing, Elisa. Where she would sing all night and nobody would talk to her because she's just probably just a black Brazilian who learned how to imitate the English or something. And then as soon as she starts talking English at the end, how nice to meet you. Bom te conhecer. It's such a difference, when you start speaking English and you realize, he's not just a little black guy from the ghetto. So it's a different experience. Jordan, I do want to get to, because we're past the hour mark here, and I'm enjoying this conversation, but if we keep going, we'll be here till 3 a.m. Tell us a little bit of what you're doing as far as, because we got all this cultural talk. How is it that you are connecting with Brazilians on this cross-cultural level? American stuff, Brazilian stuff, whether it's through music. I know you had the English course for a while, Inglês na Quebrada, just stuff like that. Like, what are you doing to bridge this, and why? What does that mean for you to be able to bridge some of these gaps?
Okay. Well, certain gaps were only starting to get bridged, like on our YouTube channel, Unsaw. That's the name of me and my wife. Because like I said, when I first came out here, I had met her on Facebook, and she was already doing a lot of stuff in the community. Like, I didn't start doing it. I just joined up on what her and her collective were doing. But she left the collective, we got married, and we decided to start our group. But I was like, my goal was to be here and doing stuff that Brazilians could understand. I still do a lot of stuff in English, but we do together. Like, I'll do a verse in English, she'll do a verse in Portuguese. You know what I'm saying? So we're catching certain people. It's difficult, you know what I mean? Like, we do some shows. We do a lot of we used to release more stuff, but really if you go down and you see the documentaries, like the things that they're not documentaries, they're just me talking about stuff, like videos with us talking about certain things on the channel. And those are some of the most popular videos because we're explaining things that people had this idea about the United States. Like that video where it says, "Por que me mudei dos Estados Unidos para São Paulo?" Why did I move from the United States to São Paulo? That video, I'm explaining some real stuff about how, like, it's real. Like, I come from an area that has crime. It has a higher murder rate than the city of São Paulo does. Like, a lot of cities in the United States do. But the people don't realize that. So when I say these things, it adds a real big shock value to people, like thinking like, wow, I didn't know that it was like that. I never thought that it could be like that. So I realized that I've been opening the mindset of a lot of people by doing these type of videos, and so it goes bigger than the music. Like, I like to use the channel almost like it's almost like I'm a YouTuber, but also doing doing hip hop music too. And so,
yes, although I gotta say, this is the ugliest shirt I've ever seen. I'm
not quite a super fan.
Corinthians. Anyway, and guys, I link all this stuff in the comments. By the way, I'm gonna put up your Instagram and share that. But I link all this stuff in the comments if you want to go to his YouTube page. There's music there. There's these conversations there. And some of it is going to be in Portuguese, guys. But YouTube, for those that don't know, if you click the little CC button, you're going to get subtitles. You can practice your Portuguese with the Portuguese subtitles, but it also, well, that would be the captions, but it will translate it. There is an auto translate. It's not perfect, but
depending on how well I'm speaking.
Yeah, it's gotten better. It'll catch about 98, 99% of what people are saying. So you can auto translate it into English and catch majority of what's going on. So watch some of that stuff. I've seen these videos. I like them though, because it's kind of cool, the conversation between you and her, because you give one perspective, and it's nice that sometimes she'll be like, yeah, but there's also this on this side. So it's very, very cool, these videos.
Yeah, so that's the idea. The idea is just the bridge culture, because she talks about her experience. She lived 10 years in Italy. She speaks fluent Italian. And so she talks about like that even in this video, like when she was living in Italy, what it's like being a Black woman. I actually want to change gears on the channel and do more stuff in English, showing people what it's like living around here. And we could do a video too together where you show me what it's like in the spot where you live at, and then I do, you know what I mean? So like we could show what Sao Paulo look completely like. Like is it it has different faces. It's a huge city. And so I want to start doing more stuff like that in English to let people know what it's like out here too. But like I said, the whole thing is just about culture. Like I'm big on culture. I'm big on learning about geopolitics. I like maps. So like I wanna share the things that I know about the world and about my people, African American people, and just in the United States in general. And I want to learn as much as I can about people out here, about other parts of Latin America, Africa, what have you. And I think music is the best way, because you got a beat there, and a lot of people out here don't have no idea what I'm saying, but they still rock with it. And I love that and hate that, because I miss the oohs and ahs when I used to be in the cypher in the States. And people were like, oh shit, he just said that. I'm out here, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I still appreciate that y'all are vibing with the flow. There's something that you're connecting with. Our goal is to get it more popular so that we could, get to the United States crowd too, and the other crowds, the Canadian crowds and the Australian crowds and the British crowd, people that speak English in around the world. We want to, make more catchier, you know what I mean, so we can get in different arenas. But just keep living here. I don't want to move from here.
No, I feel you. Yeah, and guys, I'm scrolling down his Instagram page where you get a lot of stuff. So it's Unsol, guys. UMS. Oh, for the Instagram, it's Somos Unsol. But
if you just type in Unsol, that part,
that's what I did. I just put Unsol Instagram. So UMSOH, okay, is gonna get you either his Facebook or Instagram channel. And there's Lena, his wife, right there by his side. And yeah, I agree with
our Instagram. We both have it together.
Okay.
Oh wow, she's got your balls in her purse.
Is that true? How? Because does that mean that if somebody flirts with me and says, "Hey, I think you're incredibly sexy," and my wife sees that, what is she gonna do to me? Is she gonna argue with me? Is she gonna leave me, or is she gonna be like, "Thanks"?
Yeah, she should be proud of you, actually. Yeah.
Look. There's biscoitando. There's Jordan biscoitando. There's no translation for that in English. It's just there he is.
Well, we used to say, "Yo, you want a cookie, don't you?"
Showing the body off, getting that cookie going. So yes. But folks, check that stuff out. I love it. I've seen him perform a couple times, and I love that the group where what was it? Diaspora Connection.
Connection Diaspora.
Yes, where he's got a guy from Senegal that raps with him, a guy from a Spanish-speaking country. I forgot. Colombia. He does the American rap, and then we got a Brazilian guy doing the raps in Portuguese. Very, very cool stuff. And yeah, music is that, I guess, music and math, I guess, are like the two universal languages, that it just goes around. And, is easily understandable by all cultures. It's unfortunate. I feel what you're saying with Americans. Like, you know, they'll jam to some reggaeton every once in a while. I think Shakira helped open a few doors too with getting people listening to Spanish speaking.
Well, there's a lot of Latinos in the United States too.
Yeah, there's a lot of Latinos though, so they're carrying most of that weight, you know. But Americans generally, I don't know how it is in Canada, Pete, but Americans generally aren't listening to music that is not in their language, which is a shame.
Yeah, no, it's the same.
Yeah, well, like when you go to Europe.
Brazil's the same. It's just that the United States is a very big hegemonic place. They'll listen to music in English and some stuff in Spanish. But when you really think about it, if every country that's bordering Brazil, besides 3 countries on the top, speak Spanish, you would think that they should listen to a lot more music in Spanish. You know what I mean? But they listen to a lot more music in English than they do Spanish. And there's only one English-speaking country that borders Brazil, but they don't listen to any music that's coming from Guyana.
Yeah, K-pop has gotten pretty big here.
Yeah, I was gonna mention K-pop is huge. You got a bunch of people here that can karaoke your ass.
Not where I live at. So my whole world is very limited because out here nobody's listening to K-pop, or if they are, they're not blasting it outside.
Oh no! I hear it here. Even in some of the quebradas, you see the kids with the whole K-pop thing going. It's like, okay, yeah, but. You know, American pop music is just traveled all over the world, though. I don't know if it's something specific to Brazil. You know, it is.
No, it was big in China as well.
Oh yeah, like you know, Thailand. Beatles, Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, like those are just universal.
That's not American, but yeah, Beatles too, all that stuff.
No, but I'm saying English speaking. You know, English speaking. You know, it's just universal music. It just made it, because when you start to get into like, okay. Then you start to get something like, I don't know, you know, some blues, you know, Buddy Guy, whatever. You know, they'll know who these people are here, but it's not like it doesn't have the same impact as like pop music has had.
Yeah, but you know what is funny though? Like, it's better when it's like that, because that's what I'm realizing. That's why I realized that wherever we go in this world, if we can use the networks in a way where we're not using them correctly yet.
Yeah.
You know, because if we were, when you went to our Instagram, it'll have a lot more than the number of followers that you see that we do have currently. So we're not using it the right way still. You know, the investment is not enough yet, but it will be. But niches, your groups, whoever the blues guy that you were just talking about, I'm also not real well versed in my blues. But whatever pockets of fans that he has in Brazil, you know what I mean, or a person that's like him, somebody that's up and coming, let's say.
Yeah.
Or a rapper that's from the underground in the United States. Like Cormega is one of my favorite rappers in the United States. Do you know who he is?
No.
I figured you didn't. Most people don't. He's wonderful. He used to be. He came here to Brazil and he did a show. It was packed with people. And everybody that was at that show, I passed out our cards to, and a lot of them followed us. And they liked us because I figured, like, yo, if you're a Cormega fan, you're like an underground hip hop fan. And I've seen that like in the hood here in São Paulo where the information is even more limited. He brought out hundreds of people to see his show. So I'm like, yo, you don't have to be a pop artist. And those are the people that are gonna really ride with you more than these pop people. The moment you do some bullshit like slap Chris Rock or something on that level, you're gonna lose all of your people. I can't believe he did that. Right, but you could be an artist that that has that cult following, and you could spit in somebody's face like Tupac was spitting in people's faces sometimes when he was angry. That didn't make people
that didn't work out too well for him though.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think you're safer slapping people at the Oscars than you are being Tupac.
Well, no. What did spitting on somebody do that hurt Tupac?
Well, I think it was a general pattern of behavior that eventually.
Yeah, but the spitting, but specifically the spitting, he was so popular and so loved that it's kind of like unfortunate. Like, yo, he fought at a point in time. He had a fight with high school students on a bus when he was.
I know.
So like that was deplorable behavior. Yeah. but like it didn't have enough time to really like. I think what it was is it didn't have enough time to come back on him because he died shortly after all of those things.
Well, that was it coming back on him though. That just different shit.
Guys, by the way, we mentioned Buddy Guy. I saw Buddy Guy for the first time here in São Paulo. This is back in the day, so my camera is like a potato camera. But look how many.
Look at that! He just brought out a lot of people. Though he has hardcore, or was that already a festival? Jazz?
That was no, that was him, man. There he is slashing.
There you go.
Good boss, man. Buddy's the man.
Those people.
So you know that's the interesting thing with when it comes to music, and part of the titles of these videos, I gotta put questions because I learned that if you put a question as the title of your video, you get more views. But you know, we didn't really talk about it. Is how to live as an artist in Brazil, and I do a little bit of music. I have a lot of artists that I know. Elisa, that was in the chat there, does music, and it's so important to be able to find your niche down here, and you will find it, especially in São Paulo, a city as big as São Paulo. You will. It's not always easy to find it, but when you do, man, you just start hitting those motherfuckers heavy, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, there's a big horror punk scene here, man.
There's a big what?
It's crazy. Like it's horror punk. Like the Misfits, that kind of stuff. There's like a big scene for that. There's a psychobilly scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything. Like you'll find your people.
You will find your people, and it took me a while to learn that because the music that I played, I thought, okay, Brazilians just aren't into this. Like I don't hear them listening to soul, blues.
But they do, right?
They do. Once you find it, you're like, oh shit, there's people that not only listen to it, but they appreciate somebody who can actually play and sing in this style.
Mm-hmm.
And and then you can mix in. Now I can mix in the other stuff that I like. I'll do some Brazilian stuff. I'll do some MPB and stuff like that. But it took me a while because I was like, I don't want to play MPB. Like I like it, but it's not me. I don't want to have to change what type of music that I like, which is a mix of rock, rock to soul music and to a little bit of neo soul in it. I don't want to change me just because I want to get a gig and I have to play, 1,000 Caetano Veloso songs. Like I love Caetano, but I don't want to play my whole set list, 70s MPB. But once you got to fight a little bit for it and you got to really canvas where you are. But once you find it, you're like, oh shit, my public is there.
With us, it's interesting. You're talking about your target audience and all that things like that, right? Where they, it's different with you. You play, so you can go to a bar and there's different ways for you to make money off of it. Whereas me. It's basically like, I want to get the YouTube channel right, so I can get the YouTube channel popping, so I can get this money with dollars from these ads, or what it was us finding our target audience because we just did a show, in a garage show. It's low pay, these little things in the hood that we do, these collectives. They give you money, and we do our own songs. Like I don't even do covers or anything because I don't play. You know what I mean? I could probably do covers and sing in a band, but I'd have to hire the band and I'd lose money. You know what I mean? So I never even thought about that type of stuff. Plus, I'm not a singer. I'm a rapper, and that doesn't offer a lot of these like opportunities like singing. Clubs.
No, for sure. No, with rap, nobody's gonna want to see the Snoop Dogg cover band.
Yeah, but it could. That's a good idea to do something like that. Maybe it'll work. But I don't know.
Different. I've never seen it before. Imagine you do 90s West Coast cover review, the West Coast 90s gangster rap review by Jordan.
I'd feel really weird doing that. But what it is like finding our groups. I found like the most money that we make here is not rapping. Sometimes they let us join the two. But it's like hosting events. Like we did a different, like a black couples events, and we do these little bits. Because people they say they like our personality. Me and my wife together in Portuguese, we make a lot of jokes and stuff like that. So we get called for events. And I did a Budweiser commercial, man. That was the most money I've ever made in anything that I've ever done, to be honest. I was a rapper. It was for Lollapalooza. So I was actually Travis Scott. The name of the commercial was Travis Scott. And so I'm on this Lollapalooza stage going like this. It's on YouTube.
I see that.
You can't really see me that well, which because they wanted to make it like Travis Scott, and so like since I'm not.
So you're supposed to be Travis Scott in the video in the.
I got you. Filming, we did the filming on the day that it all happened. I'm not supposed to be Travis Scott. I'm supposed to be a random Travis Scott-esque type of rapper.
Oh.
I'm doing all of the moves and stuff, but they're never saying who's the rapper is. I'm just on stage doing this, but they focus more on the people in the crowd.
I got you.
I mean, I got that gig because I could show my acting skills in some of the other music videos that we had put out. You know what I mean? So it's like a round the way type, roundabout type.
No, I feel you.
The whole key to it is being as popular as you can. You can suck. That's the thing that I realize about nowadays. You could be a horrible artist. It doesn't matter. I got my boy right now, Marlon. He is called Little Track. His name's Little Track, yo. He's become, Mataway, the singer Mataway.
Oh, yeah, I know Mataway, yeah.
He's the Mataway lookalike, and lookalikes are popular now. Yo, he's got 80,000 something subscribers, followers on his Instagram. Everything he posts has thousands. He stands in front of a car that's not his. He's got like 10,000 likes on the photo. You know what I mean? He's not making music anymore. But he's getting opportunities to talk about companies and do stuff like that in front. So I'm like, yo, he became popular because somebody made a video saying he's like, oh, Mataway is in the hood. Oh, but he's in a Chevrolet Celta. That's not like Mataway to be in a car like that. So they made a video. It's like, oh meu Deus, Mataway. He's like, oh, Mataway, só que ele tá de Celta. It was funny, so I started like passing around, and then somebody marked his Instagram, and he just blew up off of it. And so I'm seeing the different benefits that he's having. So I'm like, yo, it's really just about being popular. How many people does society care about? People from BBB, they don't do shit. They're not interesting, but they'll make a video doing this on Instagram, and it's got like 20,000. I'm like, yo, what did we come to? But those people are making money talking about L'Oreal or fucking Natura, which is a Brazilian version of L'Oreal and shit. They're making commercials talking about shit because of their influence, but not about their talent.
Yeah, it's about being an influencer here. BBB, by the way, is Big Brother Brazil, which is huge. They're like on season 300 already here. It just never ended. We got tired. They got tired of it. I think in the U.S. that lasted maybe 10 years. I don't think it's still on in the U.S.
I think it is. It still comes on.
You're kidding me? But it's not like a big social thing. Like
because
here,
it's not like
trending thing. Brazil, it stops everything. Like that's the main headlines on the news. Like who got knocked out of BBB and blah blah blah. So I feel you. No, I feel you. So it's like you got to come with an angle, guys. If you want to do anything artistic here, you got to come with an angle. Obviously, your biggest angle, if you are from an English-speaking country, is that, hey, I'm from an English-speaking country. So it's like, I remember Lisa telling me this way back when. She's like, when you charge for shows, always charge the native singer, native speaker, whatever, because you're pronouncing "we are the world" and not "we are the word." Like there's those.
But do you think they really care that much about that?
They do. I think for me it doesn't work as much because they find out, oh, but you're Brazilian, even though I didn't grow up here, so it gets knocked out. If you're like 100% not from here and you got the accent still when you're trying to sing in Portuguese, man, that makes a difference because you're like, no, this is a real jazz singer because she's from America. This is a real blues singer.
Okay, I can imagine it's different in jazz. Yeah, I think in rap it's probably different too.
Of course,
it would. You understand what I'm saying in either way. I could be saying it's the same thing.
It does, but you know what it is because Brazil is so much about status. It's about all of us have taught English. We all know some of these students we get, they don't really want to learn English. They just want to say they have an English teacher. They have a native English teacher, not just somebody from Wizard. So when you're dealing with music or art or anything, yeah, that's gonna make a difference. If you say, "Yo, I'm a Canadian artist," I'm a American artist here, bringing you real, authentic Joni Mitchell music. You know,
With my situation, it's like it's me and my wife together with everything. You know what I mean? Or
yes.
Peter says she's got me by my ball sack or something like that. But it's not like that. We literally do everything together. With the music, we're a group. So, I mean, it's better to have, but I don't have my own Instagram. She does have her own. So she does kind of have me by the ball sack. And if she wants to flirt with a guy, she could go on her own Instagram and do it, and I won't see it. I wouldn't care if I did. I'm not that type of person. You know what I mean? But if any type of flirtation.
No, but it's a partnership. It's also as a group. So you guys are in the group together. It makes sense that you would have to.
So it's not like American rapper. It's casal Afro-Americano, Afro-Brasileiro. And so
yeah, but that's already an angle, and I think that's where you're being smart because you're saying that's an angle. It's like it's an intercultural couple, not just not interracial, but intercultural, international couple, whatever. Yeah, so that's an angle in which makes sense given what you just said. You're getting money from people that want to see that. They want you to host an event, a couples event, and look at those two. It's like Pete. We just watched that movie last year, the Lucy movie. Desi Arnaz, Lucille Ball. Like that was the charm of that couple. It's like these two folks from two different worlds, and yet
Ricky Ricardo. You're talking about?
Yeah, Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
He never said you've got some splaining to do.
Yeah, you got some splaining. I don't think he ever did, though.
Never said that.
Yes, which is weird. That's a false memory. That's the what is it?
The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect. But what was the one that they said in the X-Files? It's a different name that he used. Yes, because I grew up watching I Love Lucy, and I swear by the Bible that he said that 1,000,000 times.
Me too.
Yeah, and also Star Trek. Never once was it said "Beam me up, Scotty." Never once was it
"Beam me up, Scotty." Never happened.
Never happened. There will be variations. Yeah, there's variations of it, but not the line complete. Or there's the one from Star Wars.
Energize.
No, Energize is the next.
Yeah. When Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker.
They never said, I am your father. It's not like exactly how people remember it. Luke, I am your father. Yeah, it's not Luke, I am your father. He says a bunch of shit, and then he says, no, I am your father. But people just remember Luke, I am your father. It's false memories, engrams. Yeah, it's weird.
Everybody has somehow.
Yes. Folks, I think we got to go to the quiz, man, because otherwise
I do as well, man.
Yes,
this is
because Pete's got to wake up at 7. Me too.
No, actually, I can sleep until 8 tomorrow, but
okay, but I wake up at 7.
Still
guys, I want everybody to go to the Unsolved pages Instagram, and you just Google UMSOH. But again, in the comments, I will link those over there. And also thanks once more, folks, that like this channel and have subscribed to this channel. We've been slowly growing. And Wednesday nights, speaking of Star Trek, all you geeks out there, Pete and I are doing Deep Space Nine, Black Messiah, Black Wormhole Messiah. Cisco, don't fuck with that, black man. We are getting into Deep Space Nine heavy every Wednesday night. So join us for that.
You guys live in the same neighborhood?
What happened?
We do actually live in the same neighborhood. We used to live
y'all don't watch things together. You do it via online.
Oh no, we cuddle.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. No, Pete, Butantan is huge. Butantan is huge. That's another thing. Folks, we've said this 1,000,000 times. São Paulo is huge, man. Butantan has more people, I think, than Boston. It's a big fucking neighborhood. So Pete,
it's the size of like Greater Vancouver, at least.
Yeah, no, he lives in the same neighborhood, but it's like 40. If I were to go to his house walking, it'd be like a 40-minute walk, maybe longer. He's on the other side of Butantan. But we don't watch together. Although Pete, Okay, I got that hot sauce. I got that hot sauce. But lucky for Pete, I'm not into white guys.
Why is that lucky for Pete?
Because he doesn't have to feel a dick up his ass.
Oh my God! Like he has no choice. Taking away all of his will. Oh my God, my dog.
By the way, it's the cachaça talk. Okay, here we go. Not that I never say any of this stuff when I'm sober. Never. I'm an angel. Okay, so here we go, guys. You know what this music means. It's the Expat Challenge, a what do you call it? Lightning round quiz. Okay. So Jordan, just tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't think too hard about these questions as we go down the list. Pete, you want to start off this time? Because I always
start sure. Off. I never do. Yeah. So best thing about Brazil.
The people, the food, the beaches, the beauty, the temperature, the planting, the soil, the animals, the smell.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing about Brazil?
Lines, emotions, certain smells. Right? And certain,
as you say these things, I'm just thinking of downtown. Like that's downtown. It's the lines.
Open air sewers. Open air sewers.
Yeah, yes. I'll tell you, Brazil smells a lot nicer than China, though. I have to say.
I don't have that experience. I'll take your word for it.
Okay, so what's your favorite Brazilian food?
Vaca atolada.
That's
what is it?
Not a food, is it?
Yeah, it's a dish.
What's it called?
Really?
Vaca atolada.
Oh, vaca atolada. Okay, I'm gonna show that.
I just came back from a restaurant like an hour before this interview, and I ate it. It's so delicious. I could eat it every day for like 2 weeks when I not get sick of it.
And guys, this is vaca atolada here. It's like a cow. It's beef. Wait. It's not sharing.
Literally translated to stuffed cow.
Yeah, stuffed cow. There it is. Vaca atolada. Oh yeah, this is delicious. And this is the little mandioca.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good.
Oh, so it's like beef stew with mandioca.
Yes, it's pretty damn good, man. I can dig this.
I don't think I've had that.
You gotta go to the nearest nordestino restaurant and get it as soon as you can.
Yes, and this would be good with some hot sauce, man. This would be really good with some hot sauce.
It is good with hot sauce. They have their own, those homemade hot sauce.
Yeah. There's a Bahia place near me that does acarajé. I buy their hot sauce, homemade.
I love that, but it makes my stomach feel all bubbly.
It's not that spicy though. Like honestly, it's not the best. It's not the best.
Acarajé, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, acarajé is boss, man. Love that shit.
What's your least favorite Brazilian food? Or is it? Was it? Yeah, it's me. What's your least favorite Brazilian food?
I don't know. Lena, what do I not like? What type of Brazilian food do I hate? You don't know me.
Oh, we're playing the dating game all of a sudden.
I don't have any problem with tapioca. I don't know. I like everything, yo.
Yeah.
Well, catupiry.
Yes,
yeah, that's a good answer.
That shit is nasty.
Oh my God.
Catupiry. I was out with Dre from Rio, and we were out getting pizza, really good pizza. But I told him like he wanted to get a pizza with catupiry. I'm like, dude,
don't do that.
I wouldn't do it. Like, if you want to experiment one day, like you might like it, but it's your first time in São Paulo. I'm taking you to a good pizza place.
Imagine somebody nutting in your pizza crust.
Oh no, dude! That's the worst because they'll sneak. Like you'll get a pizza and they won't tell you. Like
they don't tell you.
It's stuffing in the catupiry, or the crust is stuffed with catupiry, and you get fucked up after. Because I like to eat the crust up. So then I'm biting into it, and I'm like, "What the hell is this shit?"
They think that everybody wants that shit. Like that, you got.
No, they love it. They love it. We're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like farofa. It's like, what do you mean you don't like farofa? You don't like?
Well, I like farofa.
Okay.
You're one of the few.
Yeah.
Thank you for defending farofa. I tried to get Jackie to eat some, but the food wasn't moist enough for it to be good. She didn't like it at all. She was like, "This is sand."
She's not very open to some of the different tastes that I've seen there.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get her I'm gonna teach her how to make a good farofa meal because I converted a friend. I love you, Monica from Zimbabwe/England, and she swore she's been here forever. And she's like, I hate farofa, and then I made her a plate. I was like, you're eating this shit wrong. I made her a plate.
Hate it though. How could you hate farofa? It's so light and it just goes with you put it on top.
If you eat it wrong, and Pete will at least say this much. You know, if you got the right cut of meat that's moist, you put a little bit
exactly. If you put it on something really greasy and you add hot sauce, that's the thing.
Yes,
you gotta add the hot sauce and you gotta add the garlic sauce. Then it's okay. But if you just
it at least gets to an okay, you know, and then you put it in with the right food, it tastes good. Like most people that come on this channel say they hate farofa, they're eating it with rice or something, or I'm like, yes. Even I won't eat farofa, or they eat farinha, which is just like the plain shit.
I do that too. I put farinha.
No, I like farinha, but you got to put it on the right food, unless you really like it, like me and Jordan apparently do. But if you're trying it out and you just get some beans that aren't juicy, some rice that's definitely not juicy, and you just put farinha on top of it, it's gonna taste like sand in your mouth. It is not.
Yeah, exactly. And it grinds, man. I got shit teeth to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need that fucking stuff in my mouth.
In Catupiry, by the way, guys, it's like shit. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be some sort of
it's like the Brazilian version of processed cheese. It's cheese from a toothpaste package.
It's actually better than the shit they call cheddar here. That's the worst.
Yes,
high yellow, high orange cheddar shit.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta pay for it. You can get real cheddar here, but I mean, my God, it'll cost you more than a down payment on a house.
Yes, and here's a pro tip, guys. Pro tip, and this lightning round is not going very lightning, but we'll get through it. But just a really pro tip before we get to the next question for Jordan. If you ever see anything that says chipu, do not buy it. Okay, this literally translated says cheese like cheddar.
Well, that's what
don't ever buy anything that says chipu. You're gonna be disappointed.
That's like Kraft singles. It says cheese product. It's not cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese product.
But Kraft is better. Kraft is better.
Yeah, it's slightly better. Slightly, yes. But don't get anything chipu. You're gonna get fucked. But anyway, go ahead, Pete. It's
all right. So, favorite drink. It does not have to be alcoholic. Any beverage native to Brazil that is your favorite here.
Guaraná.
Yeah, that's a great beverage. I drink Guaraná every day.
That's the famous one.
And I like Guaravita.
Oh, I love Guaraviton. Guaraviton is great. It's a little energy. Well, not really an energy drink, but it's pretty good.
No, I'm talking about Guaravita. Guaravita. It's carioca. They don't have it. They don't have it in São Paulo. It's like those school lunch joints where you peel off the plastic top.
I see it right there. Okay, Guaravita. All right, so what is the best place you have visited in Brazil? Any place in Brazil?
Arraial do Cabo, Rio de Janeiro.
What is it called?
Arraial do Cabo. Arraial.
Arraial. Okay, see, you can tell I don't do the Portuguese writing very well. Oh, that's a beautiful place.
It is beautiful. I took my mother there.
Wow. Nice beaches. And that's in the state of Rio.
It is.
All right. Go ahead. I think it's on Pete.
Yep. Most overrated location or thing?
Damn, I can't say. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm sorry. You stumped me.
No, I hate the word overrated myself because it just means other people like things more than you. So
BBB.
I guess. Okay.
Big Brother.
Okay, there you go.
You know what the most popular answer to this question is, Jordan?
Right.
The Christ statue.
Rio de Janeiro, not even Christ statue, just Rio. Like people just think that's an overrated place. Everybody says you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, and then they go.
Yeah, I thought Rio was boss actually.
Rio is like, it's so amazing to me. Every time I go there, it's like every time I go back home and I see the buildings, the skyscrapers of New York. It always amazes me like it's the first time I've seen it. And I've seen it every day of my life when I was living there. Rio de Janeiro is the same way. I can look at it every day, that Rio de Janeiro backdrop. And it gives me the same feeling every time I see it. Like, wow, this exists in the world.
I know. And it's such a different culture from Sao Paulo, too. Like, that was one thing I found. Like, it's only 6 hours away, but, like, the culture is completely different. Absolutely. They're such lazy fuckers.
That's what people say. I think that they're calmer. They're calmer.
On what planet? But anyway, I don't want to get into Rio. Yeah. We had, by the way, thank you, because you did give us a segue, which is, I always got to do some self-promotion. Listen to our last video, São Paulo versus Rio, with Andre, real nice brother from Rio, lives in Niterói, from Chicago, I should say, but is living in Niterói, which is the city across the bridge from Rio. And we do talk about some of the similarities and differences between Rio and São Paulo. Different culture, y'all. Visit it. Make up your own mind. Let's see. What is the best place to chill in your city? Best place to just go and relax, see some beautiful people, eat some food, do what you got to do in São Paulo.
Lately, the place that we've been going to a lot is this place called Aparelha Luzia, which is
I know this. Yes, Aparelha.
It's a spot where it's like a black watering hole in São Paulo, if you will, because all of the people that live in the north side, south side, east side, west side, and the center all go there. They talk, they have parties, and it's dope, man. It's a dope spot. And so I went there last night. Actually, we were there. No, Saturday night I was there, packed with people.
That's actually the first time I saw you guys play. Was there at Aparelha?
Yeah, we did. We had a show there. Me and my wife, as saw, have never had a show there, but. The connection.
And there it is, and it's a kind of a cultural space, y'all. So you can see here most of the pictures they don't have any of like the club stuff, but they do have dancing and all that. But you see that they'll have book launchings and movie nights and poetry readings, but they'll also just more on the weekend.
Yeah, on the weekend. Exactly. They just open up. What happens is wherever you go in Sao Paulo, if you're black. And you're in tune with your blackness, like this new awakening that you're talking about, that's happening here. People that are in tune with their blackness go to any type of event. After the event is over at about 11, 12, or 1 o'clock, everybody, if the event is downtown, everybody comes there after, and they stay there until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, it's downtown, and here's more kind of like more clubbing type thing, but it's a pretty cool little place. And I think Rebecca, who was on our channel before, will be there in a couple of weeks with her book launch.
So nice. I will go check it out there. Anytime they have some type of event, we're trying to go there. But like I said, if we go to any type of other thing, like we went to the movies, it was a whole type of event. And then after we went to Aparelha, we saw everybody that was at the movies. We saw everybody was at this other event. So I'm like, yo, everybody does this every week. And we used to be like that, but it was smaller. It's a lot bigger now, I think, because, there was a pandemic, and then people just want to do stuff now,
I feel you. All right, go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, well, I think you've already answered this question, but feel free to provide more information. Favorite Brazilian musician or band?
I like RZO, Racionais, like we said before. And Sabotage. These are 3 rap groups. I'll say that.
Okay.
Sabotage. I found out about Sabotage last year, man. I'm so out of the whole thing.
Really?
Sabotage is very interesting, kind of tragic story there, but really good rapper there. Sabotage kind of looks like Coolio in this picture. Was that RZO?
RZO, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know RZO.
It's the Rapaziada Zona Oeste. So it's the West Side Boys.
There you go.
All right. And these are all hip hop groups, right?
All hip hop groups. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And last question.
Okay.
A word of advice for future visitors to this beautiful country called Brazil.
The country or the city?
The country.
Okay. If you're gonna visit, try to tackle one city at a time. If you're not gonna stay for weeks at a time, don't try to go city hopping. If you only have 5 days, stay in Rio de Janeiro or something like that. Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Salvador, even Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo's not a huge tourist destination. I know that, Philip, you're going to definitely disagree. But I feel like
I think we totally agree on
I
this.
totally agree. Yeah,
you're like a tour guide. You show people places to go. So
yeah, but you know what I tell people? I'll be very brief. What I tell people is that it's not a tourist city. It's a city that you got to discover. It's not like Rio. You show up and it's like, bam, it's there. You know,
that's exactly, you're
100%. It's there.
You know,
São Paulo, you got to come here and have somebody that's a tour guide or have somebody that's going to take you. Absolutely. Oh, look, there's this happening. There's this happening.
And you got to be here at the right time too. Like
exactly.
When there's shit going on. Like
but
this last
weekend. Going on there's shit going on every weekend, man. And that's what I didn't realize that before.
Yeah.
I was a hermit. I was in the house, but now that I'm meeting much people, you gotta look for it. There's something going on.
You gotta look for it. Now, São Paulo, if you like, I've said this on the channel too. If I live, there's neighborhoods that if I lived in, I would be like, fuck this city. Like, get me. Actually, I did. I lived in Vergueiro for about a month when I was between homes with my friend Beverly, and I'm like, oh my god, like, get me the fuck out of this place. It's horrible. It was like depressing. I was depressed living there. You know, so it's a huge city. So every side is different, and there's different events going on, but it's not a city that hits you in the face like, boom, this is where I want to be. You got to work.
But if you have somebody, like you said, that's taking you around, you're like, yo, this is the event, let's go there, and there's somebody that can translate for you or something like that. And you see, especially if you can speak the Portuguese language. That's why I want that girl that we were talking about to learn the language. She can realize how dope this place is, man. Because if you don't speak the language and you don't get involved with people, you're not going to see beautiful sights here. I think it's a beautiful city, but my opinion of beautiful cities is limited. Like, I haven't been a lot of places in the world. So I think it's beautiful, but like going to Rio is different. This is like, I'm ready for tourism. I don't have the infrastructure for tourism, but I can see that tourism is available there in a different way. Salvador, a different thing.
Yeah.
But I think Brazil's got to be better at that for offering a touristic experience for places outside of Rio de Janeiro and Salvador, you know, because the other places are specific beach cities where there's nothing else to do. If I go to Ubatuba and it rains, the fuck am I gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the main word of advice is, you know, if you're coming down for a little bit, just find one city to explore.
Yeah, explore one city. If it's like 5 days, now if you got like a month, then try to explore 3 big cities. You know, in different atmospheres. Go to Sao Paulo, be in the big city environment. If you like that, you know, if you like that. If you don't, go to Rio de Janeiro. You got the big city and you got the beach. You know that the beach is going to be a little bit more dirty than if you got like a small town beach vibe type of thing. And do all of that. And try to experience culture through a lens that's not specifically North American. You know, because sometimes we have this North American lens on things, like we see things and it's this way, but sometimes it's not. People think differently in other places. So have an open mind, understand that there's a lot of limitations too. Like you want to travel from one city to other. Technically, Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo are as close as Washington, D.C. and New York are. But 3 hours to get from Washington, D.C. to New York is 6 because the roads.
I've made that trip. Yeah. I've made both trips, and that's 100% true.
It's true. So if you look at the distance in kilometers, they're not that far, but the roads are all thin and skinny and they're winding. And you got the mountain. It's a rocky coastline, the Serra, right? So it's hard to like those, and that limits Brazil. And Brazil stupidly doesn't even when they have the rails, they already have the rails. They could just
Well, we don't really have a domestic rail transportation system here. Like in China, the trains go like 300 kilometers an hour. You can get from Beijing to Shanghai in like 8 hours by train, and that's the same as going from Sao Paulo to Salvador, basically. And that's not going to happen on the road. That's like a 24-hour trip.
exactly. So that's one of the things this country needs to invest in a rail line, a rail system. That would be billions and billions of dollars of investment, but it would make everybody's life easier. You wouldn't have to depend on the truckers. Another conversation we can have for another night. I hear the music. I know we're winding.
This is your talk music. This is not the shut up music. This is
I thought this was like gym to gym. We're sambaing our way out of.
No. This is just the expat challenge music. Usually when it finishes, it's because it's time to go. But no, I feel you. That for me was an issue. Like it was weird for me. I traveled outside of the country before I traveled in the country when I came to Brazil. Like I went to Europe before I went to another state, because traveling here I just saw as such a burden. Now, especially talking to Rebecca, who's a big traveler, I've seen, okay, you can do it. It's just you got to prepare for it a little bit more. It's not going to be that easy travel.
Okay. Not like the talker. She probably has a lot of. She got tips, right?
Oh, she does. Check out. Jordan keeps giving us segues, but watch the interview with her. It was wonderful. She gave us like 5 spots in Brazil to travel that are off the beaten path. The stuff I never even knew was in the country. Real cool stuff. So she'll be back definitely after she's done her book tour, and give us some more tips on places to visit all around this country, which is huge. That's another thing we repeat all the time on this podcast, is how big this country is. It's more or less the U.S. flip north-south, but it's actually bigger in area. So there's so much to see. And when you're in a city, especially São Paulo, where we all live, it's a place that's going to take you it could take you a lifetime to really explore, but to feel comfortable, it took me about a year before I felt comfortable in São Paulo. Like, okay, this is a city that I love and I can explore. Because before that, it was just like, fuck this place. It's like everything's far.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's just far.
And especially if you come here from like a North American or European culture, like chances are the first things you're going to see are going to be negative. Right, like my brother is a very experienced traveler. He's been to more than 60 countries, and he came here to visit me while he was passing through Brazil. And like the first thing he saw was like Cracklandia, right? It's like if you see that, it's like, oh my god, get me the fuck out of here.
Yes, you don't want to be in a place like that. But it's like Crackland is like Skid Row. It's like a lot of different places like that exist. Nobody should see that first. You gotta go through a lot to get downtown. Like you don't just fly in and just like, damn, there's Crackland right out of Guarulhos.
Well, I think it's the North American European mentality of like, okay, like all the cool shit is in the city center. So it's like, okay, like I made the same mistake with Los Angeles actually. The first time I went to Los Angeles, I was like, okay, downtown Los Angeles, what's happening here? It's like, oh my god. Like, talk about.
I made the same mistake when I came down here. That's the first time I got mugged, was in downtown São Paulo, because that's what I thought. It's like, shit, let me go downtown. Let me go to the
where
club.
The action is.
Yeah, and then I left the club like at 2:30, 3 in the morning. And I got mugged. I'm in República at 3 in the morning alone. What do you think is going to happen? So I think that's what it is too. It's like people think in here downtown is kind of like the worst area. Even people from the periferia don't like to go downtown. It's dangerous. And then it gets a little bit better, safety wise, I guess, or structure wise as you go out. And then there's all the other bullshit all over the place. But yes, I feel you. With that, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I have drunk a lot of cachaça tonight because I was having a good time with Jordan and Peter.
Fun.
Yes. I'm gonna share all these links and all that stuff.
Nice.
Soon. Yeah, soon, like sometime tomorrow or Wednesday. So any last words, anything you want people to know about you, things you want to mention, shows you're doing? What's going on?
Well, we did do a show recently that was filmed. We're gonna release it soon. We got our album coming out this year. Um, we're trying to do a lot of different projects, a lot of different shows that we're trying to organize in different spots here throughout the city. And that's been about it. Trying to just continue to build the popularity, to build the buzz, become almost like content creators and influencers, just so that, because that's the bullshit you got to break through so that people actually hear the music. And then the goal is just to bring our cultures, mixed cultures, her and mine, around the world, but stay here. I always want to live in Brazil. I love this country. Throughout all the problems that it has, I found my place in it. So we're working together, me and my wife, trying to get a house out here in the countryside.
You're like on like me. I'm trying to go to the countryside. Travelmatic, thank you so much, sir. He says he wants to get you on his channel. He's stealing him.
Feel me?
But it's a good theft, man. Travelmatic's a cool dude. He's been on here before. So now you were asking about outro music. This is our outro music. This is my NPR voice. Thank you.
So organized, man. You got your music.
I got my NPR voice. Wait up, wait. Thank you for listening to the BJ, or the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. Thank you, Jordan, for being on. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. We'll be back in 2 weeks, probably doing our end of month review, anything that's been interesting here in this country of Brazil. And NPR would never hire me, but I tried. And
you
that's
low
it.
Mucus content in your voice. So that was dope.
I what?
Low mucus content. When the mucus gets on the throat, it's like that.
Yes, you gotta talk in this very sexy monotone voice to be on NPR. Like Pete, you remember the old Saturday Night Live skit with the balls, right? With Alec Baldwin. Like, I love these balls that you're holding. Oh, these are some beautiful balls. Can I hold your balls? Oh, yes. Oh my God, they're so nice, so soft. Yes, but there's Pete. What happened to your phone?
I don't know what. No, it's my camera. It's my camera.
It's your camera. Okay, Pete's coming from. He's stuck
in.
This is a segue to watch us Wednesday night, Deep Space Nine, because Pete looks like he's stuck in a transporter accident right there.
Oh,
yeah, I am frozen. No, I haven't used this in a while actually, but it's
there he is. There's good. The man. There's Pete.
But no, I feel bad hiding behind my avatar for the whole podcast.
You waited to
say goodbye.
It's literally like 3 seconds left. I'm about to be over and out.
Yeah, I know, but hey.
He's like, let me show my transporter malfunction.
Right. All right, you guys, well, I'm about to take it down, as we say in our community.
Yes.
And,
okay.
I'm going to do my nightcap, which is, horrible quality marijuana, smoke, and
nice.
Probably have intercourse.
Good.
There she is. Good. I hear Lena's like.
You heard her say, "Oh my God, dude."
Yeah.
No, she had
a big old kiss. I love that
woman. My eyes go like this while we were doing it because my wife had these booty shirts, and it was like clapping like that. So as we're talking, I'm just like, as this goes, she's looking at me with these piercing eyes, like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yes. All right. Well, hopefully we will have Jordan alive with us tomorrow after this conversation.
Oh yeah, right. Knee deep.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Come over here and slap you in just a second. Tell her we said hi, Lena. Hello.
They said hi, Lena.
Hi.
There she is. She exists, guys. All right. And actually, well, I'll talk to you about that later. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you, all the subscribers. Share this content with whoever you think would like to hear it. Until next time. But stay on, Jordan. I'm about to end the broadcast right now.
Okay.
They